Shortly after his inauguration, Donald Trump indicated he was ready to have talks with President Vladimir Putin to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In the run-up to his inauguration, Trump promised to end the war within a day. He said Putin was destroying Russia by not making a deal to end the war. Trump also suggested that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy was open to compromise. Let's bring in DW correspondent Nick Connolly in Kyiv. Nick, following President Trump's inauguration, what do you make of his announcement to meet Putin?
This was expected. We know that Donald Trump is someone who believes that the force of his personality, his ability to cut a deal, is able to achieve things that other people, notably Joe Biden, haven't been able to achieve. So he obviously believes in that. There is a lot of worry here in Kyiv that it will play out just like when Trump met Putin back in 2018 in Helsinki, where he ended up siding with Russia against the FBI, saying basically he believed Putin's version of events more than the US intelligence communities. So there is a worry that maybe Putin, on a one-to-one basis, without other people in there, can achieve concessions and get stuff out of Trump that he doesn't want to give. And obviously, if there had been an announcement of a meeting with Zelenskyy, then that would be even more welcome. But this was expected.
There's been a call from the new administration for a ceasefire in Ukraine. How has this proposal been received by Ukrainian leaders and the public at large in Kyiv?
I think the question is what happens next. Is this just another attempt to freeze the conflict as happened in 2014, where Russia basically bided its time and came again? Or does Ukraine get some kind of security guarantees, some kind of promise of US weapons, at least, if not security guarantees of the kind that, say, Japan has or NATO members have from the US? And I think there's also an understanding or a feeling here in Kyiv that Trump is now, going to meet Putin for the first time now in his second presidency, and will probably come up against lots of the same issues that the Biden administration has, and maybe in a couple of months' time will come to a position that from Ukraine looks a bit more realistic. If you look at his picks for the administration, they are a lot more conventional in terms of the kind of Republican foreign policy thinking than the MAGA types that had been more kind of prominent during the campaign. So there is a hope that this will end up being less damaging, less kind of unsettling to Ukraine than had been expected during the campaign.
Nick, we also understand that Trump is to freeze all U.S. aid for the next 90 days. How might this affect Ukraine's military operations and its broader defense strategy against Russian aggression?
Obviously, it's a problem. The US is by far the largest supplier of military aid. Europe and Japan, other countries, focus more on the financial aid and keeping Ukraine's government going. But the US ability to just ship large numbers of shells and all kinds of equipment is unparalleled. Having said that, the Biden team did prepare for this. They sent billions and billions of dollars worth of weapons in the last couple of months, in the hope that it would give basically 6 months of peace and kind of continuity to the Ukrainian military in their ability to plan, in the hope that eventually Trump comes around to a position that is a bit closer to Biden than we might think right now.
That's DW correspondent Nick Connolly in Kyiv. Many thanks, Nick.